Hello, Hojoz here, and today it's the 3rd anniversary of the beginning of my channel. And the Twitter poll that I made decided that I should take a look at all the Charmanders that I ever made. So, I guess I'll have to comply. Well, actually I made that decision myself, because there was a tie between History of the Charmanders and History of the channel. I decided to go with History of the Charmanders because, well, I've been meaning to make this video for a long while. Anyway, let's look at the first ever Charmander, or rather, Charmander. Now, I later on decided that this was a typo, but in the beginning, I can totally see now why it wasn't. You see, it wasn't a typo because the original was based off a flying car. It's, yes, this is the original Charmander. It's a really ridiculous craft that never worked like you wanted it to, and it also had a howitzer in the front. Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, just look at how bad this is. This is obviously before I even used the center of mass and the center of lift indicators. That's horrible. Actually, it's pretty good for maneuverability, but just a slight bit too low there on the center of lift. Anyway, it seriously had all of the ammo too. All of the howitzer ammo. At least I believe so. Come on. Do you not have all of the howitzer ammo? It had fucking... it had 2 RTG... Jesus. Yep, it had the ammo. It had all of the ammo. Yeah, also it had the 50 cal turret on the back. I mean... Let's just fly this thing. And just... I mean... what even is this? This isn't even a flying car anymore. Because, well, the wheels, the rover wheels have been removed. I just quickly want to test out all of the weapons. And I mean, you can see, this was before I even realized the potential of missiles. In fact, this was one of my first craft that I ever made. And this one beat all the later Charmanders when I decided to do a Charmander test of the Mark 1 to the Mark 5. Simply because this one had a tail turret. It also had a howitzer. Because, well, it was a flying car. And obviously, if it was going to face tanks, then it had to have an adequate weapon. See? Pretty adequate if you ask me. It also had 2 Vulcans, but not that those ever got used in this plane. I love this thing. This is just the definition of insanity. This was what I made back in the day. It's like a year and a half ago, when I first decided to install BDA. When I had the computer for it. I was confident that I had the computer for it. This thing, man. This is honestly the weirdest creation I've ever made and that I've ever seen. And yet it functions perfectly, and it's actually capable of shooting down other planes. It also takes the entire runway to take off because, well, look at that landing gear position. The jet does not want to retract its landing gear because it's a flying car. I love that. But wow, look at the maneuverability on this actually. It's pretty good. Looks pretty good, but come on man, this fixed landing gear bullshit. What even is this thing? It doesn't even turn straight. It doesn't even pitch straight. But heck, it really does have a hell of It really does have awesome handling, now that I think about it. Well, it's obviously because it's not flying at a high speed, Hojoz. Well, that makes sense. Since this was never designed to actually land, I'm not going to try. I'm instead just going to go back to the space plane hangar and take a look at the next Charmander, the Charmander Mark II, or rather the Charmander Mark II. So yeah, this had the howitzer removed. It also had these gun boxes placed to a different position. I decided to go with Vulcans only this time, and some bombs, because apparently this thing needed bombs. And I was really going to bomb ground tugs with this thing. No, obviously wasn't. This has even a more horrible center of mass versus center of lift correlation. I can't see this going well, so let's just take it out on the bat. Sorry for the cough there. I've had a slight bit of throat issues over the last few days. Yeah, I just can deploy the Mark 82s. No, I can't. Well, obviously, because if you're going to deploy these things, they're going to just explode under your wings. I said they're going to just explode under your wing. No, they don't. They just sit there calmly, apparently. And Vulcans then. Oh, it has one mounted. Two! It has two mounted on the underside as well. Well, 4 Vulcans, yeah, that will do. Anyway, let's just take this thing out for a flight with everything equipped. I swear to God, this thing is... Why did I even make this thing? Why is it so horrible? Well, it's obviously so horrible because... Oh, this was even before I discovered those options, and I discovered that yaw isn't good to have on those control surfaces. This really is an old plane. Jeez. That maneuverability though. Jeez! That maneuverability though. That maneuverability though. That maneuverability, that's just insane. I should take this one, remove the bombs and submit this to PFC 6 or something. PFC 7, Hojoz. Okay, PFC 7, that's all well and good too. But this, what even? What in the world is this maneuverability? I swear to God, this thing is just going to annihilate everything I made today. I have in my VAB and SPH today. I don't have anything in my VAB, but still, I swear to God, if I set this up correctly, this thing is just going to annihilate anything that I've made. And it's so weird, because it's a very, very early plane. And I just wrote it off like it's really not capable of doing anything. Also, those guns fire weirdly. As I said, correct configuration. That's something to think about. Also antennas, yeah. I mounted those antennas and this. There's something in there. I just built this, thinking that, well, I just throw this together and hope. But I bet that... Oh. Well, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. Look at the dancing on this thing. That's insane. This is insane. I should revisit this plane and make a proper fighter out of it. Seriously though, just look at the insane maneuverability. Jeez. Jeez. I legit want to put this up with countermeasures against a modern day Charmander. In fact, the Charmander that I just finished, the Charmander Mark 6 H8, which you're going to see in PFC 6 Chapter 4. But I just really need to just revisit this plane. In fact, I'm just gonna plan that for my next computer session. I just want to revisit this plane. Because, Jesus, this thing is OP! The maneuverability on this! How? How did I make it so maneuverable? Well, you made it so maneuverable by not knowing anything about planes. Obviously. Well then, this is the Mark III, which I removed the bombs on, and I replaced the guns with 4 50 cals. I wish you luck with 4 50 cals. Guess that's not an adequate replacement for 4 fucking Vulcans. I mean, yeah, this is in my time that I played War Thunder, and I thought, well, this surely is an adequate gun configuration. By the way, I made these first, like the first plane models I ever made and slapped BDA stuff on. I made them knowing that I just wanted to have them with guns only, with the guns only fighting. I just wanted that because, well, I thought missiles, well, they were too conventional for my needs or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's take this out on the pad. I'm very confident that the barrage on the 50 cals is set to thru. They're going to... Yeah. Just look at that. Yeah, the barrage is set to thru. This is shit. Oh. This must be... this Mark III must be my realization that, yes, you can clip engines. Because look at that. 2 and 2. Oh no, never mind that. Those were just the 50 cals. Anyway, let's take this out for a spin then. Sorry, I have to cough again. Ah, jeez. I can't get that out of my throat, can it? Can I? No. Conventional 70 meters per second? No. 80? No. This thing legit cannot go higher than 90 with the control surface pulled up. Well, that just about shows the effectivity of air brakes on this thing. It can only take off at 100 meters per second. Oh yes, this is way more sluggish. Way more sluggish. This is really way more sluggish. This does not fly well. As I just crashed into the ground to prove my point. That does not fly well. That does not fly well at all. Ah. Who could have known that I would actually learn something from looking at these very, very old Charmanders. This was also the time when I thought that I would have... that I needed batteries, apparently. Huh. Anyway, Charmander Mark IV, here you go. Oh, this is the first Charmander where mounted a Panther, and I had a rework of these control surfaces mounted on the engines, the vertical ones. I think this is when I started to pay attention to this. Nope. I also reverted to the Vulcans again, just 2 on the underside of the wings. Very interesting this. Very interesting to see. Does this thing have action groups for switching the modes? Nope. But it has now anyway. I just very quickly wanted to see how this thing performs with the Panther Afterburner enabled. Surely this thing takes off faster than the previous version. Come on, man. Ooh, that's a bump. And it took off because of the bump. Yeah, just 2 buttons. And horrible maneuverability again. Wait, what? I disabled pitch and yaw! I mean, yes, I now finally have a realization of disabling pitch and yaw and shit like that, but honestly, why would you disable pitch on that? Look at the better performance when you have pitch enabled on those things. Also, the roll rate is still insane. But yeah, not the maneuverability of the Mark II Charmander. Ironic, isn't it? Yeah, this thing does not fly as well as my modern creations. That's something that I can see already. I just quickly want to see. Oh, that's horrible. The yaw control is horrible. This no, that's just so unstable. So unstable. Anyway, I think it's time to look at the Mark V. The Mark V is when I first decided to attach one of these. You can already see this thing looks more modern than its predecessor, more like a modern Charmander, but still it has the old Mark IV configuration and even the original wings, original main wings. It also has the 2 Vulcans from the last version. Really, all that has changed here is this. Because, oh no, nope, I realized that pitch on these things is pretty handy. Did I? Yep, finally emote for the afterburners. And also, all flaps work as air brakes. Oh no. This is the time when I thought control surfaces were named flaps. And the time where I thought that air brakes on all control surfaces would have a very large advantage. But they do not. Trust me on that one. They don't have an advantage. Oh, I also configured this one to take off faster. This thing takes off at not even 50. Oh, the lovely maneuverability is back. That's a thing, that's for sure. The lovely maneuverability is back. That's actually pretty cool. Does it have any of the RTGs? Still have the 2 RTGs from last time. Nope, doesn't have the RTGs. I got rid of them apparently in one version. Pull up! Ah, this is way more lovely to fly than the Mark IV. Oh, look at that snap roll. Look at that snap roll capability. That's lovely. Also insane roll rate. Still insane roll rate. And let's get this thing level. What's the yaw? Yaw still pretty terrible, I would say. Oh no. Yeah, that's completely and utterly horrible. But it does seem like I really have to take this Mark V Charmander into my VAB sometime for some revisions, because apparently it has pretty good maneuverability. Not anymore though, since the fuel's draining. Apparently draining fuel has a negative effect on this Charmander, so it progressively gets worse and worse and worse and worse in battle. As you can already see, maneuverability is starting to decrease. But yeah, really something I have to research this thing. So, next Charmander, which is the Mark V countermeasure mod. This is when I started to equip other planes around it, like the Insana, the original Insana, jeez, long time ago, with missiles. And I thought, well, if I want to have my best plane battle them, I better install some countermeasures. So this should basically fly the same as the last one, which is why I'm not going to take it out for a flight. Let's see the original Mark 6, which all of my PFC entries are based on. Well, you can already see the large changes here. The fuel tanks that were previously mounted up higher with other control surfaces have been mounted towards the middle of the plane, and it looks like this is when I started to realize that center of mass and center of lift are two things that are very important to a fighter jet. It's also the time when I mounted the Vulcans inside of the fuel tanks. That I still love. I mean, it's been a year since I made this thing, but that I still love. Anyway, this is like a heavy departure from the Mark V. Let me just quickly merge the Mark V. Just look at the differences here. So yeah, one yaw control surfaces instead of two. Those fuel tanks have been mounted by the wings now. Yeah, this is like a large improvement, I would say. So it should also handle better. At least that's what I would say, but it has less control surfaces, so who knows? Come on. Just do the 50 meters per second liftoff. Oh, I love that. Oh, jeez! Talk about maneuverability! Talk about maneuverability! When did it lose that amount of maneuverability, honestly? It does not have the power to weight ratio. I crashed it immediately because it was too maneuverable. I mean, when did it lose that maneuverability? Honestly, when did it lose that? Where did that maneuverability go? I've never seen that amount of maneuverability by Mark 6 Charmander. Well, obviously, because the Mark 6B had a different missile configuration, and the different missile configuration obviously comes much more of an issue with maneuverability. I mean, it handles fine at 100 meters per second, but if I do these kinds of turns, yeah, see, it's already starting to slip. Walk. This thing shouldn't fly at speeds lower than 90 meters per second then. That's something I can see already, so that I would immediately configure into the VAI. Jesus. Talk about issues with speech. This thing is also getting progressively worse, I think. It's also the first with A120s, and it has the standard drop range, but look at the roll rate of this thing! Look at the roll rate, it's so insane! Jesus. Also, yaw. Yeah, those are the typical Charmander yaw issues. Those are the typical Charmander yaw issues. The yaw issues that I know. That I know so much and love so much. No, I don't. I don't love yaw issues. Obviously. Oh. Yeah, those are the M120s. So, next one. Mark 6B. The only thing that has changed, I think, is a different missile configuration. Yep, different missile configuration. Also, it now has the typical Charmander countermeasure setup, but this was the first plane I entered into a PFC. This one was my PFC 3 entry, and if I remember correctly, it got decimated by Dark Line's Panther Leo. Or something like that. At least. It's probably the maneuverability. Yeah, just look at the way. Holy shit! That's it just catched itself. I mean, it was obviously going down for me there, but yeah, I think this one suffered from too much maneuverability because of the drag of all those missiles. This one definitely suffered from too much maneuverability. And it also had the horrible yaw. Yeah. I mean, it seemed to have fixed itself. No. I mean, it's even pulling itself up with the yaw. Yeah, that's not healthy at all. That's not healthy at all. This one, man. This... I totally understand why this was a failure. I mean, I should have entered the Mark V countermeasure mod, because it looked like that thing was more capable than this. Jeez. The maneuverability on this it's insanely bad. Well then, next one. The Mark VII. The original Mark VII. Yeah. Yeah. It's all coming back to me now. This I made after the Mark VI. I thought it needed more engines. And, well, I made the Mark 6B after that with the similar missile loadout because, well, I'm just quickly going to show you on the launch site. I mean, I'm sure it was rather nice, but I'm also sure this thing was the most horrible thing for yaw ever. Like, seriously. This has the typical Charmander Mark 6, early Mark 6 maneuverability issue. It does not have the power to weight ratio to save itself. And it has horrible yaw issues. Just look at the over yaw on this thing. I mean, I immediately retired this after making it because, well, isn't it obvious this is the worst creation I ever made? Yeah. Just look at the over yaw on it. It definitely had way too much yaw. It was horrible, and yet I made it. Yet I didn't learn from it. I mean, it already has 50 on those. Jeez. Let me just take that to like I'm actually going to quickly disable yaw and see what the yaw performance on this thing is simply by the gimbaling engines. Because quite honestly, I have suspicion that the engines are to blame here. That the engines are to blame here. You can also just see the horrible power to weight ratio, because, well, oh, it also has full fuel tanks. Well, of course it had full fuel tanks. So much issues with this. Now it still has yaw issues, and I have a suspicion that that is because, well, all those missiles are mounted towards all of the missiles are mounted on the belly. Let's just see how well it performs with yaw now. I'd say that that's a little bit better, but still could use some improvement. I also went back to the Brownings. This time I installed 6 of them, but still no barrage setting. I still didn't do a barrage setting. It's also in what I like to call a waffle setup, which hasn't proven itself to be all that capable, really. Well then, next Charmander, the Mark 8B. Mark 8B. I wonder what changed. over all these Mark 8s. Mark 8C. What's the difference here? It's probably the Brownings. It's probably the barrage that's set to false on this one. Oh, it also has different countermeasure tactics. And it has... No, it doesn't have different missile loadouts. It just looks like it. Anyway, this just looks like another horrible Charmander. But anyway, why did I say anyway there? It's not even correct grammar. But I made this thing after I saw PFC3, the PFC3 tech inspections actually, because JRA said that it would profit from more intakes, and this is the first craft I ever used this weird intake strategy on. It also has full fuel tank. I'm going to fucking... Oh no, that's not the fuel tank, because that's... Yeah, everything's stored inside there. This was the time when I thought, well, I shouldn't clip this, because, well, it doesn't fit in my morals. I definitely would have clipped that nowadays. Anyway, let's see how this thing flies. So much anyway. Because I seem to remember that this thing in my first Starfight competition had the barrage set to false. Just quickly, oh, you can't set a different barrage. Anyway, this, oh wow, the animation on this recording are real. It's real, seriously. I made this thing thinking that, well, these Brownings on the JRA drone functioned awesomely, so I should invest on that technology. And then when I flew this plane out, I thought, well, what's happening here? The barrage. It's not doing what I expected it to. So I immediately blamed the barrage, and that was the issue. Anyway, let's fire all those missiles and see the horrible drop time, of which I'm not a fan anymore. And maneuverability check. Yeah, not that large of a maneuverability fan. I don't know why to see that. Yeah, the roll rate still isn't the same. Anyway, let's go back to the space plane hangar and take a look at later Charmander Mark 6s. I'm just quickly going to load this up for OCD reasons. Well, first the Mark 6D. Oh, fucking shit! Why are there so much missiles? Well, isn't it obvious? This Charmander is a PFC 6 entry. This was designed as a PFC 6 entry, because first I entered the format, and well, the format didn't perform so well. So then I thought, well, I should upgrade my Charmander Mark 6 and do this with it. Because, well, it worked so well for the P52 Delta. And, well, it didn't function so well for this. I also was struggling with the placement of my countermeasures at this point, because, well, this was still the era where I was struggling with constantly getting hit by missiles, which is why I built the format as a basically as a missile striker. And well, this is the Charmander Mark 6D. Well, we've flown Charmanders by now, but this is a little bit different. So I'm again going to take it out on the launch site, basically on the fucking tarmac, Hojoz. Yes. So yeah, doing this was one of my first planes utilizing the things of utilizing the realization of, well, both engagement range on the minimum engagement range on the 120s to counter ECM tactics. And also one of the first planes to feature sandwich configuration of missiles. Well, the format was technically the first, but we all know how to format it. Anyway, why did I mount so many missiles and only set the AI to fire one at a time? Why? I do not get this. I do not get this shit. Why did I think this would perform way better than a Mark 6B? Because I honestly think the Mark 6B would function better. Anyway, let's just... Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Just look at the bad maneuverability. Oh no. We can definitely see what the issue was of this thing. Just look at the... I mean, how did I even do that? I made this maneuver more horribly than it already was maneuvering. Well, I don't know. What I do know is that there's still more Charmanders to look at. So, next Charmander, I'm first going to do the Mark 6E. This most recently was a PFC 6 chapter 4 entry, and well, the drone beat it for obvious reasons. You've seen it. You've seen the last Charmander fly. This thing is not maneuverable enough, and that we realize now. And well, it's very obvious why I got the chance to improve this thing, and the improvement is named the H8. Yeah, H8 should perform better. Way better, because it has more maneuverability. Anyway, this is the B6. What was I trying to achieve with this thing? Why did I mount those tanks, those fuel tanks higher? But I still wasn't minding the countermeasures or the missile layout here. So I guess this came before the D. Well, obviously it's logic, Hojoz. Obviously. But what's the issue here? Why did I mount those fuel tanks up high? Also, that you get maneuverability like that, which is even worse. Come on, power to weight ratio, kick in, yo. No. And that should just about describe this plane, because well, it was a failure. I tested this out against the Forma, and somehow it lost. I don't know how. Probably just the first strike of the missiles again, simply because it didn't have the correct configuration of flares and chaff. Because suddenly in 1.0.0 my planes were really bad at dodging. I thought, well, what the fuck was going on here? What the fuck was going on here? What the fuck was happening here? By the way, you can also not see the Charmander Mark 7 A2 if you want to see that. Just quickly go over and watch the Starfighter Competition Season 2. Anyway, I just want to make a quick comparison between the Mark 6E and the original Charmander. Just look at the differences. Yet you can still recognize it as a Charmander. Simply because of the wing layout, I suppose. Huh. Well, I guess that's been the video. That has been this video. Yes, indeed. I'd like you to go and watch some CFC Season 2 action if you're here. I mean, if you're interested in Charmanders, I'd assume that you're interested in that. And, well, if you're going to Starfight Competition Season 2, you'll have plenty of references linking you back to PFC Season 6. Because, well, PFC Season 6, in my opinion, is a better competition than Starfight Competition. Well, Starfight Competition is more challenging because of the 5 km local range. Yeah, I suppose. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then do nothing. Or press the like button, I don't know. Awkward outros. I'm doing one of those awkward outros again. So yeah, I guess I'll see you next time. Yes, bureaucratic, Boys Bob, as always. Weird intonation.